How's it going, folks? I'm Matt. This is Photosyntek. Welcome to another episode of The Grow Show. Been a minute since we've done one of these, and I've got something very amazing to share with you guys today. Brand new light from Photontek. Let's get into it. So, the Photontek X1000W Pro has recently landed on my doorstep. Photontek reached out, said they wanted to sponsor a grow. I said, absolutely. Big fan of your products. I've never actually used one up until now, but I've definitely been interested, let's say that. So let's talk about this light specifically. What is it? Well, it's a light meant to flower a 6.5 foot by 5 foot space. Huge footprint. In opening up the box, I found nothing but the highest quality of construction and manufacturing. This light is absolutely rock solid. All of the cabling, save the dimmer and the power cords, are external. And it's very, very easy to put together. Now, the one thing that I want to talk about in particular with this light are the magnetic light bars, which in my opinion is one of the coolest features I've seen on a light in a very long time. What's amazing about these lights is, well, it's magnetic. It clicks into place. So when I mounted this light, it was very simple to do by myself. The total fixture weighs about 40 pounds, but I was able to mount that frame in my space quite easily, and then I just locked all the bars into place. It's just that simple. So let's talk about a couple of notes here. So I touched on the cabling. All the cabling's internal. One thing I do want to talk about is they actually send you 2 power cords. So there's one that allows you to run the normal 120 volt, or if you've got the ability to do 220, 240, there's an additional power cord for that. Now, when you're running at that higher voltage level, you're actually using a little bit less current, and therefore your light's becoming more efficient. And that's one of the other things I want to talk about this light overall, is how efficient this light is. Now, the biggest concern I had about this light and receiving it was the fact that the power supplies aren't external. They're not able to be removed from the light and taken outside the space or your tent like some of these other lights. However, in doing my testing and running this light at full snot for a good chunk of time, I found that the power supply itself only gets to be about 10 to 12 degrees Celsius above ambient. So what does that mean? It means it's just a little bit warm to the touch. The light bars themselves, these magnetic light bars, they are barely warm at all. Just the sides of them, little bit of heat coming off those LEDs. So that tells me this light is exceptionally efficient, and the need for removing any of these power supplies and having them outside the space, not an issue. Now, if I did have a beef about this light, maybe it's the dimmer. Now, the dimmer itself is incrementable. It's not a linear knob where you would go from 0 to 100%. It has increments of 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100%. I initially thought this was going to be a big deal because the way that I like to do my grows is I bring my plants into my space, flip them that day, and then I bring up the light, right? I dial that light down about 50%, bring it back up. Now, in this circumstance, what I've done is I've just mounted the light up on the ceiling, cranked her up to 75%, and instead of turning the lights down, I just removed a couple of those bars that were over the space, and therefore reducing the total light available and making my plants very happy as they were getting used to this stronger light. One of the other things I want to talk about here, it's very easy to install. The hangers themselves that they send are very good quality. In the box you get the bars, the frame, a couple of power cords, the dimmer, and of course those hangers. And you know, overall, it's just a banger of a light. We'll talk specs here for just a minute. 38 pounds, sorry, 2,925 U-moles per second. What does this mean? It means that this light is going to push out an exceptionally high amount of high-quality photons for your plants to enjoy. What does this translate to in efficiency? 2.9 micromoles per joule. This means this light is going to be extremely efficient, and I've just talked about that, how much power it doesn't waste. Full spectrum light, it's using Luma LEDs for the white LEDs, if I can say that correctly, and it's got Osrams for the reds. Far reds, really nice spectrum on this thing, but there's a button there. Now, we don't get a lot of UV. There's not a lot of the lower spectrum in this light specifically. Fine for flowering. Fine for veg too. But what Photontek is doing is they're coming out with the 30-watt UV bar very soon, so pay attention to their website for that. And by the way, the link to the website is down below there in the comments, and if you use the code Photosyntek with a K, you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase. So, end of the day, this thing will operate in any environment that you want to be growing in, and it's a heck of a light, guys. So, follow along with me again starting next week on the Tuesday. We're going to be dropping the first episode of Flip to Finish, and we're going to be showing you how I'm growing some amazing platinum kush breath from our friends over at In-House Genetics. Otherwise, check out Photontek. They're an amazing light company, and I'm super pleased with this light, and I can't wait to continue growing with it and show it all to you guys. I'm Matt, this is Photosyntek. We out.